It's a beautiful Monday morning, and we're on the last lap of our special coverage of the 2023 general elections on the Nigerian Science Live Studio of Independent Television. And today we will get our conversations on course as it relates to the forthcoming elections for the governorship and state houses of assembly. We'll be looking deeply into expectations as far as the Edo State House of Assembly contest is concerned. And that's because in Edo State we don't have a governorship election for this year, but that's just around the corner if we consider the fact that it's coming up next year. But our starting point is to look at how the presidential and National Assembly elections fared against the background of all the reactions that have been trailing the exercise which held on the 25th of February. We were here for almost about 3 days talking about the outcomes of the election before eventually the results were announced by INEC. Once the result was announced, and then reactions and counter-reactions started trailing it. Even before the results were announced, we saw that happening all across the country. And then some of the things that we didn't have a thorough grasp of also started coming out. And we've seen comments, we've seen statement releases, we've seen a whole lot that has trailed the elections so far. Anyways, all of that will form part of our conversation today on Nigerian Decides on Independent Television. My name is Sonny Duke Okosun. As usual, I'm here with my colleague, Erosa Abolaho. Thank you, Erosa, for coming on the show.
Good morning, Via. It's another promising day. Attention has shifted from the presidential and National Assembly elections to the governorship election. About over 20 states will actually have new governors elect after March the 11th election, and state House of Assembly elections as well. And those states seem to be the focus for this March the 11th election. Though there was no governorship election in Edo State, but state House of Assembly election in Edo State is of paramount importance to the ruling government and, of course, the political parties competing or jostling for the positions in the State House Assembly. A lot of intrigues, a lot of talking points. You won't believe it that even the president-elect, Bola Ahmed Tinubu of the APC, who is yet to be officially inaugurated as president, has a video message to the people of Edo State regarding the Edo State House of Assembly election. Can you believe that? So that's to tell you that the focus seems to be on Edo. Everybody wants to know what will happen in Edo because the last presidential and National Assembly election, the Labour Party, or the party that is not even in charge of government, did not get the overall votes. So there was an upset in Edo. But the State House of Assembly election, the ruling party is also doing everything possible to ensure that they make things right. Well, that's that for Edo State. So like I said, it's going to be interesting. I believe that INEC, the umpire, has been receiving this time around not accolades at all. INEC has been in the eye of the storm.
A lot of bashing.
A lot, yes. Not only in the country, but outside the country. Nigerians in the diaspora, Nigerians, citizens, they are not happy. And we are happy that INEC has accepted that there were glitches during the conduct of the presidential and National Assembly elections. Now that INEC has accepted that there were hiccups, it is believed that INEC will improve on March the 11th. The United States ambassador to Nigeria recently also made public statements in that direction. They acknowledged that so many Nigerians' expectations were not met. They also acknowledged that some Nigerians are rejoicing and celebrating the outcome of the election. So misfortunes for citizens. But they advised INEC to improve on their shortcomings. For instance, beavers, an introduction of INEC did not perform optimally. And INEC insists that beavers will also be used in the conduct of the governorship and state House of Assembly election.
That seems to be where the big issue really is, because in November 2022, there was a media report that INEC is planning to jettison the use of beavers to transmit election results electronically. And I recall that INEC chairman came forth to deny that report and saying that beavers is one of the biggest, greatest innovation that they have made in the conduct of election to remove all the untoward things that are associated with our election. And they are very, very confident that beavers has come and it has come to stay. Nigerians believe them hook, line, and sinker. But at the end of the day, we discovered that on February 25, 2023, the presidential election, all of a sudden, beavers didn't work. But we had an electoral official here who told us her personal practical experience in transmitting the National Assembly results. Beavers worked perfectly well. But when it got to the presidential election, there was a problem. She tried and tried and tried. It didn't work. They had to resort to getting those results to the headquarters, the collation centers, manually. And I watched over the weekend when the INEC chairman in the press conference was saying that they were going ahead to use beavers, to transmit results electronically. I mean, you're just wondering this double speaking, double standard that we are seeing playing out that has really brought credibility question to the whole electoral process, particularly the presidential election. That's the crux of the matter, Osa.
Yes, we had the opportunity of interviewing the INEC resident electoral commissioner
Excuse me.
In Edo State in this program. And he assured Nigerians that INEC is ready. We talked about we expressed our fears.
Our concerns.
Yes, and he dispelled them and assured Nigerians that INEC is ready to conduct the presidential and National Assembly election. But everyone seemed to be dissatisfied with the conduct. Not that voters did not participate in the election as expected. Voters in large numbers in different states of the Federation actually participated. They cast their votes for their preferred candidates. And that's credit to the awareness created before the election. But in terms of electronic gadgets, we're also aware that the electronic gadgets are manufactured by man.
Yeah.
Yes, and malfunctioning can happen anytime. But an agency saddled with that enormous responsibility of conducting a presidential election, that agency is expected to have done a lot of checks on the electronic gadgets deployed for that election. Because if the beavers walked across the states, I saw a footage where the governor of Ondo State was accredited with the use of the beavers. I've seen that some persons actually acknowledge the performance of the beavers. But in a situation where there are widespread complaints about a particular electronic gadget, it is expected that INEC will go back to the drawing board, review its strategies, review the equipment for the election, and come out with something very convincing. Because I can tell you that some Nigerians are not even happy. They don't want to hear about beavers now. Because they expected beavers to transmit election results from the polling units. That did not happen as expected.
Yeah, especially for the presidential election.
Yes, so now that we are just about 5 days to the conduct of the governorship and the state House of Assembly election, it is expected that INEC will come out with something convincing, something that will make Nigerians to be really, really assured of their preparedness to curb all the hiccups encountered during the presidential and National Assembly election.
I'm also concerned by the fact that in the presidential election, many of the things that we haven't seen or heard in our election for a long time, they came to the fore. They were very prominent. You can talk about things like ballot box snatching. You can talk about shooting and maiming. In Edo State, 2 people died in this election. Of course, the governor of the state went on his condolence visits to the families of those who were lost in that exercise. In Lagos State, there was a particular story of a young lady who was stabbed very close to her eyes, 2 spots. She almost lost her eye in the process, but she was determined to vote. After that incident, she went to get treatment and she came back and cast her vote for the candidate of her choice. There are cases where even EOs, electoral officials, were protesting that. I think that happened in Imo State. The result sheet didn't come for them to go to where they are supposed to conduct the exercise. But at the end of the day, results were declared in those areas where election didn't take place. So the whole exercise was fraught with irregularities that really brought to question the transparency, credibility, and of course the independence of the umpire in terms of giving us something that we can be proud about. As I speak at the moment, you can see the reactions that have strayed this election all across the world, from ambassadors to presidents of countries and what have you. I mean, you just talked about the reaction from the United States calling on INEC to live up to expectations. I'm just wondering what expectations are they going to live up to against the background of the damage that was done last Saturday.
Yeah, they had about 2 weeks.
Yes.
Thereabouts,
yes.
After the conduct of the presidential election. So I expect that INEC should be bothered. There are even unconfirmed reports that INEC chairman says his life
is being threatened.
It's been threatened. Don't take it with a pinch of salt. Once an adult cries out and says, "Oh, his life is being threatened,"
yes,
security agencies must actually do everything possible to ensure that they protect him and his family. But we are yet to confirm that. But that's to tell you that elections in Nigeria or in a developing country is not taken for granted at all. When you say this man is the president-elect, it is expected that he should actually be a product of the mandate of the people.
Exactly, exactly.
Yes.
By popular vote,
exactly.
Popular participation. My biggest concern, because this Saturday we're going to be having the governorship and state houses of assembly election across the federation, about 28 states altogether. This is the kind of scenario that bring about voter apathy from the electorate. When there is such a huge mobilization, conscientization, getting everybody, to be involved in an electoral process, and then after the process, there are so much irregularities that even is so obvious that the blind could see it, the deaf could hear it, and then when you have a follow-up election that requires the people to participate, you have this disenchantment on account of the outcome of the previous election. And that's the reason why you've seen that over the years, when you look at the number of registered voters compared to the number of actual voters, the margin is usually very huge. INEC told us about 82 million Nigerians registered for this election. You look at the top three in the contest, the declared President-elect Ahmed Bola Tinubu, the second position where you had Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, then of course in the third position, Peter Obi. You just look at the range of the total number of votes that they cast, 8 million, 6 million, 6 million. That's within the region of about, maybe within the region of about 20 something million. And then you compare that to the total number of registered voters, which INEC declared, over 80 million. That's definitely a source of big concern to everyone. And so when we have this kind of scenario playing out, the people start asking the question, I mean, what's the use going out to cast my vote when I know that at the end of the day, they do whatever they like, announce whoever they care to announce, and I really don't care about how I feel, how I voted. And that seems to be a huge concern. But we're appealing to our people that for every good thing that must come to pass, there's a price to pay. And we need to sensitize ourselves, conscientize ourselves to ensure we come out on Saturday to cast our vote for the candidate of our choice, the party of our choice, irrespective of how we feel about what has transpired on last Saturday's presidential and National Assembly election. Rosa, you said something about there's a special interest in the outcome of the Edo State House of Assembly election. That's the focus. That's the focus. Everyone seems to be interested, even including the president-elect, who has done a video making some statement about that election. Why that so much interest is part of what we're going to be talking about today on the show. But I'm sure you want to say something on that.
Yeah, actually, you recall that the Edo State House of Assembly has experienced problems, especially the inauguration of members of the Edo State House of Assembly. There were conflicting reports that some members did not honor invitation for the inauguration, while the affected members said, oh, they were not even aware. Some said, oh, the inauguration was done at night. A particular member elect attended the inauguration putting on a shirt instead of putting on a suit and, that kind of attire required of an occasion of that magnitude. But he was putting on a shirt as if he was going for a sports event.
Yeah.
So a lot of allegations, counter allegations, a lot of crises. At the end of the day, not all members who won an election were inaugurated, and some of them never participated in any plenary section to date.
Yeah.
And maybe some persons, kept it in their diary.
Yeah.
And recorded it. And so they just think that, oh, we have not forgotten what happened. And probably that's the reason why the opposition party in Edo State, the presidential candidate of that party at the national level, who is now president-elect, made that video. And some other chieftains of the party, they've been making public comments and all of that. And what we must admit here that it's not really about these comments. What has happened in this election, not so many people are even aware of what has happened.
Yeah.
What has happened is some kind of, I don't want to use revolution because that language is not a good language, but we've seen massive participation of the masses. get the language, massive participation of the masses in an election. That's what has just happened. It's not about a political party. It's not about what you think or whether we have a ruling party, whether you're opposition party. It's just that the grassroots, people at the grassroots, the downtrodden, those who ordinarily do not take elections seriously, this time around, they participated because they said they need a change.
Yeah.
A change in their welfare. A change in the development of the country. So that's the reason why what happened. It has never happened that in a state where you have an incumbent governor, then the party of that governor will lose most of the seats. Is not a common scenario. But that happened in this election because of massive participation of the masses. So, in the March the 11th governorship and State House of Assembly election, we only hope and pray that what we thought we have been able to overcome as a country, which is voter apathy, does not rear its ugly head again because of the complaints that have trailed the outcome, the announcement of the results of the last presidential and National Assembly election. If that has an impact on these same masses, then you may not see massive participation of the masses on the 11th of March.
So our fingers are crossed and wait to see how all of that will pan out in terms of the participation of the electorate in the election. But we are calling on Edo people, irrespective of how the election took place. It's your civic responsibility. It's your right to exercise your franchise. So ensure on Saturday, come out and cast your vote for the candidate of your choice, for the party of your choice. We're just doing a review of how last Saturday's election went and the implications for the forthcoming governorship and State House of Assembly elections, which is on Saturday, the 11th of March, this Saturday. We've just been told now that the video, which a lot of people have been making reference to, I know that even Osak Balawa mentioned it a while ago, that we've not been able to really confirm independently the source of that video. That video was a video done, I mean, some years back, you know, so it's not a recent video, even though it was the president-elect that is in the video, but he didn't do that video recently. But that seems to be part of some of the things we'll see online as it relates to fake news, fake videos, deep fakes, as they now call it, and all of that. So you've got to be careful what you see and how you respond to some of that, so you don't get misled.
Yeah, but let me interject.
Yes.
Now, I'm happy you said, we may not be able to confirm the exact date of recording of that video.
Yes.
But the question you should ask is, does it have any correlation with the March the 11th election?
It does. It
now,
does.
for the fact that the president-elect of APC, the way he made the comments.
He didn't make that comment as president-elect. He made that by the time he made it, he wasn't president-elect. Yes.
I'm not arguing that.
Yes.
Whether he was president-elect, I said it. I said we don't know the date.
Date or the
yes. But we are looking at the import of the statement.
It's all part of, that's why I said it's all part of the structures and the strategies.
So those who release, those who release that video,
yes, they know what they are targeting.
Know what they are doing.
Yes, they know what they are targeting.
They know what they
and that's why we, as
yes,
practitioners who are in the industry, we educate and enlighten our viewers and our listeners, as the case may be, that you need to be guided by some of these things. Because all those things you see, I mean, I saw a video where the President of the United States of America was criticizing LGBTQ, lesbian, gay, and all of that.
Yes.
It was so real. But you and I know that if the president of America goes ahead to criticize those set of people, probably they will move for his impeachment. That video was reviewed, and there's a new technology now that is being deployed in faking videos. When they pick up a statement made by another person, they take the face of a very popular, prominent person, they merge it, they synchronize the voice. You can't tell.
Yeah.
You can't tell that it's not the person.
That's abuse of technology.
That's the point I'm making. So these are some of the realities that we're finding in our society today. But we will continue to do our best to ensure that we educate you, enlighten you to make the best of decision. The focus of our discussion, we've already let you into that. The Edo State House of Assembly is a major talking point. Even with or without the video that is trending on social media, purportedly coming from the president-elect, is a big interest for the political parties, the PDP, the APC, and the major political force in the state talking about the Labour Party. So we'll be looking at all of that in the course of the show. And then again, you recall that the Supreme Court has given a judgment saying that Nigerians can continue to use the 1,000 naira note, 500 naira, 200 naira note till December 31st, 2023. But we are waiting to see how all of that will pan out. Naturally, in some climes, when the Supreme Court gives the judgment, everybody complies. But that's not the case of Nigeria. We'll talk about all of that much later on the show. Let's go for a quick break. We'll be back to get our conversation on course. This is Nigeria Decides on Independent Television. Welcome on board once again.